Now let's go ahead and move on to the Dallas Cowboys 7-round mock draft. But before we do that, if you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and smash that bell so you can get a notification every time Tyler and I post a new video. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the NFL draft, so if you guys could help us reach that goal, that would be very much appreciated. All right, let's break this down. I actually really like the draft that they had, and to me, it starts out with one of the most electric players, I think, in this class, and that's wide receiver Zay Flowers at pick 27. Also, the tool that we used counted the what do you call them? Forfeited picks by the
forfeited
Dolphins.
picks. Mm-hmm.
And so if it's pick 27, it's probably really 26 because the system went 20. Dolphins pick was at 21, and then the next actual pick was at 22. So if their picks are a few off, that's why. But getting back to Zay Flowers, just absolutely electric with the ball in his hands. He reminds me so much of Jalen Waddle. He's just a little bit more raw coming out, but to me, he's still a first-round prospect. And I just can't stop saying the word electric because that, to me, just defines exactly what he could do for this offense.
Well, and we did a video about him, and I remember this was one of the teams that we picked. I think that he would be a great fit for because CeeDee Lamb is one of the best receivers in the league. He brings so much attention. And what they've gotten with Michael Gallup and Noah Brown on the other side of the ball just hasn't been working out. And Michael Gallup tore his ACL, unfortunately. Last year, he just wasn't the same. Maybe he'll come back to that. Yeah. And he's more of an outside receiver anyways. But have Zay Flowers come in on the slot, have that Tyreek Hill-esque type speed that I think can only – if he is just a decoy, then that's going to open up so many more opportunities for CeeDee Lamb. And especially with their quarterback situation as well, like you want to give as easy a reach as possible for him because he doesn't always seem to make the right decision. And so having an athletic player in there like that can open the field up and allow for easier decisions, I think is going to help out this offense, especially also with Mike McCarthy at the helm.
No, yeah. I'm very excited to see what they could do with a guy like Zay Flowers in that offense. I mean, think of everything from jet sweeps to go balls and everything in between. Zay Flowers has the athleticism to do it. And I just really like that pick. And then another pick that I really like, I'm not sure if Cowboys fans are going to be as fond of it as me, but edge rusher defensive lineman Karl Brooks. He's from Bowling Green, an absolute freak athlete.
Mm-hmm.
He's 6'3", 300 pounds, and you watch him on tape, and he moves like a 255-pound outside linebacker. And it's just so crazy to watch. He actually does really well against the run, and he gets after the passer. I think he'd be a great addition to this front, and it wouldn't allow teams to really stack up on Micah Parsons. Not that has helped teams very much lately, but still, I think it just presents one more threat that Dan Quinn can play with. So.
Well, and this is another one going back to Zay Flowers pick, where it is that type of pick where you're complementing the strengths of your star player. So if you get this guy who is a huge freak that is super quick off the ball and can get after the quarterback up the middle, then they can't double up Micah Parsons. They can't have a running back stay on his side and just help Jay just in case the Parsons comes by because you're going to have Karl Brooks coming up the middle. So I think this is another pick. Maybe it's a little bit early. Maybe it's kind of a stretch, but I think that he would fit very well into this Dan Quinn system who just loves running downhill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And honestly, speaking of running downhill, their next pick at 91, JL Skinner, 6'2", 220 as a safety from Boise State. I mean, box safety coming downhill about as hard as you can. He's a missile on tape. He loves shooting at wide runs and screen passes. It's to me, I think of Dan Quinn. I immediately think of Keanu Neal on that Falcons defense, and to me, JL Skinner can do that role very well. He's the muscle behind that defense. So
and also too, another thing as well. They just traded for Stephon Gilmore with the Colts. Gave up a 5th-round pick for that, which I think is well worth it. And so now you have 2 lockdown corners with him and Trayvon Diggs. So now you can be super aggressive with your safeties, getting a guy that just loves running downhill, as you said, just going full steam ahead, running through the seams or trying to get these quarterback blitzes. I think it just fits the overall philosophy of this defense. Moving on though now to their next pick, 130. So Jerry Jones loves picking hometown boys. The favorite hometown boy was already gone. Well, actually, yeah,
He was gone a long time ago.
he was gone a long time ago.
Yeah.
However, he can go and get his backup, which many have argued he was a startable backup if Bijan wasn't the starting running back at Austin, Texas. And with Zeke being cut today, I think Roschon Johnson could come in and be a great complement to Tony Pollard.
Oh, yeah.
Roschon is huge. He's, I think, sitting at like 6'2", 220, I believe, and would be a great opposite to Tony Pollard, who is small, shifty, great speed. And I think that he would be a great addition and great value at this 130 pick.
No, yeah. I mean, everybody was talking about Roschon Johnson and just how frustrating it must be to be Roschon Johnson because he didn't even play and he's going to be drafted in the 4th or 5th round. And like that's just the amount of talent he has. And he was just stuck behind Bijan Robinson, who just is the best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley. So
yeah, and that's a good point. But I did hear one argument though is how beat up is Bijan's body though after these past 3 years of essentially being the bell cow. While Roschon doesn't have that, he still kind of has. I mean, he's a little bit older in age, but he might be able to have a little bit longer career. He might not be like the normal kind of fizzle out running back just because his legs give out on him, as we have seen with some of these top guys that come out. Like look at Melvin Gordon, for example. Great rookie contract. As soon as he goes and gets the big contract, his legs, and there might be some other stuff going on there, but his body's not able to perform nearly as well.
Yeah, not Nick Chubb. Todd Gurley is a good example of that.
Yeah. He had arthritis too. Well, I guess it's how much you said he had there. So
yeah, I really like that pick, especially with Zeke being cut. Now next pick is at 163, and this one I think is just to add good depth. But Alex Austin, the cornerback out of Oregon State.
Yeah,
I think he's just good depth. I think he could come in and he could potentially compete for a nickel role on that Cowboys defense. But after trading for Stephon Gilmore, this might not be as big of a need. But again, at 163, if you find a corner that you like that you think can come in and potentially play a role for your defense, I think that's well worth it.
Yeah, if he's there, I mean, I like the value of this pick if you're going with the best player available. After getting Stephon, but I say that though, Stephon is 31. I think 30. Yeah, so
he's 31.
Maybe get a developmental pick and he can come in and corner at nickel and then kind of move to the outside. Yeah. So I could see that. So we are not doing their 171 pick because that is what they traded for Stephon Gilmore, obviously, because that is non-existent. We did have them. I guess we could just say we did have them taking Jake Hayner, quarterback out of Fresno State. I think that would have been interesting. Cooper Rush is gone and free, or he is a free agent. Maybe they will re-sign him, but just adding quarterback depth. But from there, I digress. Another one, also a pick I'm very curious about now because they did sign Leighton Vander Esch. This is their next pick, 178. But we went with Cam Jones, linebacker from Indiana. We are IU fans just because the family's from there. So we got a D+ on that pick with our software. However,
I still think it's good depth.
It's good depth at linebacker, and maybe Leighton Vander Esch doesn't pan out, or just getting good linebacker depth. Cam Jones, we did watch him play. Athletic guy, maybe a little bit on the smaller side, and can gain a little bit of mass. But in general, though, this is similar to the cornerback pick. Maybe they go a different route here. It just kind of all depends on what they're feeling at this point in the draft and who they've gotten.
Yeah, I still like the Cam Jones pick. He's going to be more of a middle linebacker who's going to play really well in zone coverage, which I think fits a Dan Campbell defense. But again, I think at this point in the draft, you're really looking for traits. Cam Jones had some injury issues in college. He only played, I think, 6 games to see his last year. And yeah, I just think he's a good prospect. I think if you can come in, keep him healthy and develop him, I like this pick. I think he could be a sub package linebacker for you. So yeah. And then this next pick at 214 might be a little bit of a mockery, but Jake Moody, the kicker from Michigan. Cowboys had a lot of kicking woes in the second half of the season, and I think
it was really just the playoffs.
Oh, was it just the playoffs?
I think it was just the play. I think he was. Oh shoot, who's their kicker?
I forget.
Oh, crap. Go ahead.
But Jake Moody's the best kicker in this class, and I think spending a 6th-round pick on special teams, especially once you've already had this draft, I think is worth it. So,
Brett Maher was his
Maher,
name. So,
yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, like he had a decently good year.
No, he had a really good year,
Except
and
it's
then
just
I think like the last 3 weeks he just could not.
If you miss one extra point, like it's whatever. When you miss 4 in a playoff game and it's the only game that's on and everyone's watching and it just happens to be Tom Brady's last game, everyone will remember that. So not like we're trying to bring it up on purpose or anything. So,
but yeah, Jake Moody there at 214, and then lastly Jaden Hazelwood, the wide receiver from Arkansas, really good with the ball in his hands. He's just raw when it comes to running routes, but he's the quintessential late round receiver that I think you take a flyer on. 6'2", 215. Runs well. He looks athletic on tape. Just doesn't really run solid routes. Hasn't really had drop issues, but just a good physical prospect there. So
yeah, I agree. It's all in all, it was a good draft, I think, by the Cowboys. Getting Zay Flowers, getting what's his name? Just moved
Karl
off
Brooks.
Karl Brooks was
JL Skinner.
JL Skinner and Roschon Johnson. I think those are all guys that can come in and compete and contribute on day one. So similar to kind of what we just talked about with the Commanders, and we just did that video. Go check out that video. When you're picking this late in the draft, you're just trying to find as good value as you can. Not going to find too many big game changers. So I think that Cowboys did that in this draft, and if they had this draft, I think this would be another B- type draft, which just positive steps forward.